Drew Brees is back as the Saints gear up for another Super Bowl run, and a legendary owner has passed away. Time for Saints football.
It's time to talk Saints football with the one and only Stephen Wiley.
Hi, I'm Steve Wiley. Historic developments in the history of the Saints franchise in the past couple of weeks, as of course the most successful owner in the history of the franchise, the guy who brought us our first Super Bowl, and hopefully not our last, Tom Benson, has passed away at the age of 90. Looks like the Saints are gearing up to make another potential Super Bowl run, hopefully. Of course, Drew Brees back in the fold. He's going to be around for another 2 years, $50 million deal, $27 million guaranteed. And some people say, well, he hasn't got it anymore. The guy completed 72% of his passes this past season for over 4,300 yards, 23 touchdowns. I think the man still got just a little bit of good football left in him, you know? Of course, they've been talking about his demise for the past 5 years. Yeah, right. Okay, lots of free agent rumors. Of course, there was a lot of discussion about Jimmy Graham. Will they bring him back? Should they bring him back? You know, my thoughts about that were bringing him back would have been kind of like trying to get back with your ex after 3 or 4 years. Exes are exes for a reason. Jimmy, I wish you well. Bye, Felicia. Okay. And Ndamukong Suh, lots of talk about him. You know, he signed that ridiculous contract with Miami a couple of years ago. Now, of course, the Saints defense, they do need some depth. You know, they were dramatically improved this past year, which was really exciting. My question about Suh, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with, as everybody knows. But he also has a history of being a discipline problem, and we know how Sean Payton feels about discipline problems. So I don't know. And, of course, the big question, money. Don't break the bank to get him. Now, they extended Thomas Morstead. Last time I checked, which was right after that was reported, they got about $17 million worth of cap room. Now, in my mind, they've had bad linebacker play in recent years, although it was dramatically improved this past year. But they don't have that difference maker. They don't have that Lawrence Taylor, that Ricky Jackson. And I think they really need that. Anyway, it looks like they're going to go all in. Okay, Drew is signed up for 2 more years. Sean Payton through 2021, maybe? I don't remember exactly. But, you know, the time is now. All right, we'll be right back.
And now it's time for Steve Wiley's Pick of the Week.
Obviously, there's no Pick of the Week because they ain't playing. So what we need to talk about, of course, is the passing of Tom Benson. He bought the team in 1985, and by 1987, he had them in the playoffs with the second best record in the NFL. They'd been perennial losers for 20 years. And there was a span of about 4 or 5 years in the late 80s and early 90s where they were the second winningest team in the NFL. Then with the passing of Jim Finks, things kind of unraveled. And say what you will about Mr. Benson, and there have been times when I've had mixed emotions about the man for a long time. I remember back around 2001, maybe thereabouts, he was trying to pressure the state into building a new stadium and threatening to move the team to Biloxi. I had the opportunity to spend a few minutes alone with then Governor Mike Foster, and I said, with all due respect, Mr. Governor, don't take any from Tom Benson. And he laughed and said, don't worry, I'm not. A lot of people felt like he didn't give the team its best opportunities for success in the 2005 season. But then in 2006, he revamped, brought in Sean Payton, Drew Brees, and they played in their first ever NFC championship game. 3 years later, a Super Bowl championship. There's no doubt that Tom Benson left the Saints franchise better than he found it. And, you know, if you buy into astrology, he was a Cancer, and so am I. That kind of makes him a kindred spirit in my eyes. A lot of controversy over his assets. Who got the team? Who gets this? Who gets that? And the disinherited heirs who were so unhappy. They got all the Texas holdings, a ranch, car dealerships, interest in banks, they're coming away with $200 million. That's not enough. Let's let it go, please. Anyway, Tom Benson, thank you for some of the most exciting football I've ever had a chance to witness. God bless you. May you rest in peace. I'm Steve Wiley. Thank you for joining us for 70 Seconds of Saints.